right. All righty. You are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium where today the 16 win playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Minnesota Vikings. And why are the Minnesota Vikings 0-16? Because they suck. They've been around since 1961. They ain't never won nothing. 4 Super Bowls. They got blown out in all 4 of them. Haven't been to a Super Bowl since after the 76 season. The Minnesota Vikings suck. They do. They really suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. All choked up here. Going to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away. Throw in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes. As soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free. Fire away. But plus also, seriously, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever I might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free. Fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third one is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. I thank you in advance. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge, right? What do you got to lose? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Maybe if you give this video a thumbs up or share it, that'd be freaking awesome. And then finally, also, just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link. I'll go over that in just a second. The one underneath it, I'm an old-time fart. I can't stand change. Get off my lawn! I'm one of them old-time, get off my lawn fart kind of guys, right? It's a Twitter link. It's always been Twitter to me, and it'll always be Twitter, right? I put stuff on my Twitter account, every Giants-related stuff every day. So if you follow me on Twitter, I'll follow you back. That's a promise. And then the link on top of it is my Facebook link. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. We have over 8,100 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in this group, but the members post stuff in this group as well. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, when all that stuff's said and done and out of the way with, well, I seen this and I fell victim, shall we say? Like what do they say? Open mouth, insert foot. Well, that's what I did last year. Talking about closing the gap. I seen this on. Let's see here. This Giants country. I'll share this here in a second. Yep, Patty Trainer. Giants country, yep. I listen to Patty. She has she talks about the Giants, every day. I listen to her. Because she covers the Giants and everything like that. And she does a good job. I mean, I feel like Mo Ron's like me. She dumbs stuff down, you know what I mean? So after I'm done listening to her talk, I got a bunch of good, useful information, and I don't got a headache. Some guys, they just like their terminology they use and all that stuff and everything. It's cool and fine and fancy and all that and everything, but some of it just turns me on. I mean, it's like, can we say like an end sweep instead of, a box zone read, 3 wide. You know what I mean? It's just some of the terminology some of the guys use is just kind of like, so. That's why I like listening to Patty, because she kind of dumbs stuff down there. So, after she's done, I got a bunch of good information. She does a lot of writing as well, too. So she got this article here, and I said, I tell you what, last year, of course, I said, I brought up this kind of, thing going into the first game of the new season. I'm like, Giants close the gap. Oh, yeah. We got this, baby. I was talking about the Cowboy game, week 1. I even had the Giants winning that one. It wasn't like, I forgot what it was. I had the Giants winning like 24-23 or whatever it was, 27-24, something like that. It wasn't like, I got the Giants 38-10. No, it wasn't that. But I was drinking the Kool-Aid. Yeah, the additions we got Saquon, we got Hyatt, Robinson, Wandell was coming back, or we had Waller, right? Evan, the second year with Evan Neal, he should be better at right tackle. We got Michael Schmitz, the center. We got Andrew Thomas, right? A healthy Andrew Thomas. We got Saquon. We got offense. We got better. The Cowboys didn't really get better. So, for like maybe the year before, what I'm looking at. So I was looking at. Cowboys stayed about the same. The Giants got better. We got added a Caracay. We had Adoree Jackson. We added Dante Banks. We still got Xavier McKinney. We got Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon, hopefully a healthy Azeez Ojulari. I'm like, first game of the season, we'll all be pumped up. I'm saying we got better. We added talent. And I don't really see where the Cowboys, the Cowboys the year before were here, because every year the Cowboys got the same, they're like 12-4, 12 whatever it is, 12-5, like every year. Then they lose in the first round of playoffs. So then the next year to 12-5, the next year to 12-5, then to 12-5. Are they getting better? And they lose in the first round. 12-4, losing the first round of playoffs. 12-4, losing the first round of playoffs. 12-5, losing the first round of playoffs. 12-5, losing. It's like they're not getting any better. They're the same. The Giants. You look at the roster, what we had the year before. We added the talent. We got better. We closed the gap. We got blown out. We especially we lost the Thanksgiving game is the one I'm referring to. Actually, we were winning. Then the Cowboys score was 3 touchdowns in the second half, and and then it was pretty much over with after that. But I was like looking at what the Cowboys were at. Of course, this is 2023. So I was looking at what the Cowboys were at 2022. They really didn't add a whole heck of a lot. So I'm like, they're about the same. I didn't say they got worse, but I didn't say they didn't really get better. So about the same. But last year we closed the talent. So I'm pounding my chest, getting all, woo, here we go, baby, woo, yeah. Picking the Giants to win week 1. We closed the talent gap, this, that, and we lose 40-0. It's like, are you kidding me? So I drank the Kool-Aid. So, so I'm not going to, I ain't saying yeah, I ain't saying no. I'm just keeping my mouth shut. Right? 'Cause I learned my lesson. So. All right, let's see here what we got. All right, we got here. Did the Giants close the talent gap here? Well, Patty Trainer, did Giants close talent gap with key division rival? I guess she's basically kind of talking about, with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not sure why she didn't specifically also maybe add the Eagles in there, because I don't know. Maybe she's referring to maybe the Eagles or not worrying so much about the Eagles. I don't know, because maybe because we beat them the last game of the season. Maybe she thought that we closed the talent gap with them. I don't know. So the one thing that with the Eagles is that they lost guys, right? And they just traded Hassan Reddick, right? But they're bringing in guys. So it's like they got like a whole bunch of new guys. And the one, once again, I really think like with Howie, he's kind of like seemed like he's trying to push his chips in the middle of the table once again. We need to, we gotta overspend to bring it. Nobody's paying Saquon 13, 14 million. Well, I'm gonna, because I'm I'm Howie. I'm a wheeler and I'm a dealer. And with incentives, his deal could be worth almost 16 million a season with incentives and stuff like that. I mean, nobody's paying. But Howie's, I'm a wheeler. And I'm going to pay Saquon off because I'm going to put 342 void years on the end of his contract. So we might be paying Saquon Barkley for the next 1,352 years, just so we can bring him in, so we can look like we got a great deal. But I really think that he's overpaying. But I keep seeing in these Facebook groups, as far as like Eagle fans trying to make fun of Giant fans. I think it was like with Saquon Barkley's cap hit, because once again, it's the first year, of course, when they bring somebody in, it's low. Between I think with Hurts, Brown, DeVonta Smith, and Barkley, their cap hit, the four of them together, is like $46 million. Take Daniel Jones's cap hit this year, it's $47 million. So basically, the Eagle fans are making fun of the Giant fans because Daniel Jones is the one person, his cap hit is worth more than the four for the Eagles. But then, of course, then you start, that's this season. But then, like next season, it's like 77. It goes from 46. Those four guys goes up to like 77, and then I think it goes up to well over $100 million the next season. So it just starts escalating. So Howie's like trying to get a lot of his chips in the middle of the table because Jalen Hurts' contract, his cap hit's not really going to start escalating like just yet. Because once again, he signs him for $51 million a year, and then of course he also signed AJ Brown for like $25 million a year. But I think in a year or two his cap hit's going to be like $40-something million, which is a typical Howie thing. But I'm saying the same thing as like with Jalen Hurts is he signed him for $51 million a year, but he's got like void years added on to the end of the contract and all that, and everything, kicking money down the road and everything, which is not something you really want to be doing. But that's Howie. But it's like what the Eagles did and kind of like what the Commanders did. I mean, the Commanders added a bunch of guys, but the best thing, especially with the Commanders, if you're like knocking on the door, which is kind of like, what the Eagles are doing. If you're knocking on the door, I could see bringing some guys in, pushing the chips in the middle of the table, and, and hopefully you win the pot, meaning winning the Super Bowl. I mean, the guy with for the Redskins, bringing in all these new guys. I mean, that's not the way to, they don't have a quarterback. I mean, you don't want to bring in 30 new guys, all free agents and just, all right, we're going to just start winning. I mean, it's, the thing is the draft guys, develop the guys, right? And, keep the guys. I'm sorry, I got to move my legs. I got my buddy Randy's at my feet trying to move my legs without hitting him. But, it's the same thing with the Eagles. I know the Eagles brought in a whole bunch of new guys, too. And I keep seeing in these Facebook groups, like, the Eagles just signed this guy. And then the next day, Eagles just signed. The Eagles brought in a ton of new guys. But, I mean, that's not the best way to, the best way to, is drafting and keeping you guys and, developing them, which is one thing that the Cowboys kind of do. Okay, although they keep choking in the first round of the playoffs all the time. But, that's a lot of what they do. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people keep making fun of the Cowboys. Like when free agency opened up, and all these teams are signing all these guys and everything like that. And the Cowboys aren't really doing anything. And the Cowboy fans is like, come on, do something. Sign something. Sign anybody, anything. Sign a water boy, something, right? They're like not doing nothing. Because what they do is they draft and they keep a lot of their guys, right? And they just keep going that way. They're kind of like the Cowboys from it was Preston Pearson. He was the first one ever to come back in the 70s. He was the first one to come from a different team. I mean, you're going all through the 60s and into the early 70s with Tom Landry, right? The Cowboys, the guys on the Cowboys teams from 1960 to the early 70s, the only guys on the Cowboys teams were drafted or brought in by the Cowboys. They didn't make trades. There was no trades. There was no free agency, none of that. The Cowboys, let's see, from 19, I can't remember what it was. It's from 19, well, it was 66, 65 now, 66. From 1966 to, I forgot what it was, 1983 or 84, something like that, almost like 20 years. They missed, 1974 was the only year I think they didn't make the playoffs. So you look like almost like, I think it was like around like 19 out of 20 years that they went to the playoffs, the Cowboys, and they were doing it with their own guys. They weren't bringing in 300,000 different free agents and all that. I mean, it's really working out well for the Cowboys. They draft well, right? They develop their guys. They keep their guys. They pay their guys, right? And they don't go hog wild crazy in free agency. And every year, that great record every year, of course, to my pleasure and a lot of our pleasure, they get smoked in the first round of the playoffs. Yes, I freaking love it. But it's undeniable. During the regular season, every year they do very, very well. And as I said, they don't go out and bring in 300 new free agents. And that's not the best way to do it. But I thought last season the Giants definitely closed the talent gap. Of course, then right after that, after the first drive of the game, Andrew Thomas gets his hamstring. Graham Gano gets cleated. He gets his foot or ankle or something gets stepped on. It was just an absolute freaking nightmare after that. But I really thought the Giants closed the talent gap. But I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on that. I'm gonna let them play on the field. But Patty Trainer here, she says, poor Dallas. The team has made the playoffs in the last 3 seasons, but has only managed 1 win in 4 games in that span. And if that's not bad enough for America's team, they suffered a major hemorrhage of talent this offseason after team owner Jerry Jones teased fans. Yeah, he's like, we're all in, guys. We're going all in. Okay. Right about now, the Giants fans are likely crying a river for their division foes, but we'll get to that more in a moment. ESPN recently reviewed the best and worst of free agency, and the boys got failing marks from none other than former NFL general manager Mike Tannenbaum for sitting on their duffs and doing nothing. Yeah. But they do a lot of that. I mean, they don't go out and bring in 15, they're not going to go out and spend big time bucks. They might make a trade and stuff like that, but a lot of times they don't go out and make big splashes, a lot of big splashes in free agency. It says Cowboys still have needs at left tackle, center, running back, defensive tackle, and receiver, while a lot of their resources will be tied up in extensions for Dak Prescott, AB, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons. Oh, yeah. I mean, easily between Prescott, Parsons, and Lamb, you're looking at least $100 million a year for 3 guys. I'm hearing Dak Prescott might want like $55, $60 million a season. You can easily see where Micah Parsons is going to want 25, 30. Right? AB, CeeDee Lamb, easily 25. So you're looking at those 3 guys. You're looking at about over $100 million a year. Tannenbaum wasn't the only ESPN panelist to slam the Cowboys for being passive in free agency. Stefania Bell had this to say about the team. There's a saying about addition by subtraction, but it doesn't apply here. The Cowboys appear to have subtracted lead talent during free agency. The backfield now seems lackluster with no free agency move to replace Tony Pollard. But, they can also draft somebody, right? Without question. Despite several available experienced options, the loss of offensive tackle Tyron Smith complicates matters up front. And while Smith dealt with health, every year he's dealing with health issues. Every year, if he's healthy, he's a force. But he's usually somewhere along the line he gets injured. Right. So if they let him go, I don't blame him. But this is a great year for tackles. So I mean, if we're looking at it like this, I mean, they can grab themselves a nice tackle in the first round. They can grab in the second round. They can grab a wide receiver. Third round, they can probably grab themselves a really good running back. So I mean, a lot of these, right? So don't be sleeping so much on the Cowboys, because they didn't do much in free agency. As I said, this is a good good tackle class, a good wide receiver class. A couple of the holes that they have right here, they can fill them. And I said they can get a decent running back in probably the fourth round. Right? Let's see. Even if Cowboys consider moving tackle Tyler Smith, and it's not clear that they will or should, their draft strategy has to prioritize the offensive line. Well, yeah, I mean, they can double dip. Heck, they can get themselves a tackle in the first round. They get themselves a wide receiver in the second round. They grab themselves a guard in the third round. They can grab themselves a running back in the fourth round. So, but Giants were not mentioned by the ESPN panelists, which we view as a good thing. Giants general manager Joe Schoen has been on a years-long quest to close the talent gap between the Giants, Cowboys, and Eagles, who have taken turns wearing the division crown the last few years. Schoen was particularly busy in free agency, adding 5 new offensive linemen to a historically bad unit last year. He also didn't give up into the temptation to overpay for running back Saquon Barkley or Xavier McKinney, replacing the former with an equally productive and cheaper Devin Singletary. Yep. And the latter with veteran Jalen Mills. So we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see what the Giants' visions are for safety going forward. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, and the Giants, at least on paper now, have themselves a pass rush thanks to the trade acquisition of Brian Burns. This isn't to say the Giants don't have question marks. Who knows, for example, if the offensive line will be better with all these veterans having joined the unit. I mean, as I said, that's the one thing. I mean, you look at it, it's like, we'll just fix the offensive line. Okay, bring in 300 new offensive linemen and bam, there you go. We're good. No, that's not the way it usually works. Still got some question marks. We don't know wherever Neal's going to be. Is he going to be right tackle? Can he stay healthy? Are they going to move him into guard? At least we know what Carmen Basile knows what he has with Illuminor, right? And we kind of figure that maybe Runyon's going to have an inside track to one of the guards positions, right? But, I mean, sometimes just bringing a whole bunch of new guys in is not always the answer either. So we'll have to wait and see. Just hope for the best. Let's see here. And there is the elephant in the room. Quarterback Daniel Jones, will he be recovered from a torn ACL in time to start the season? And if so, will he look like the guy who earned a $160 million contract in 2022 or the deer in the headlight player last season in the 6 games that he played? Well, a lot of guys would look like a deer in the headlights with that offensive line that we had last season. I mean, that was absolutely freaking atrocious. That's just one of many questions to be answered. And with the NFL draft up next, the pressure will be on the Giants to hit their draft class out of the park and secure the team's well-being for the future. But probably not as much as the teams like the Cowboys, who basically sat on their hands during free agency and now have some gaping holes on their roster to fill. Well, I mean, one of the things is, one of the problems is that sometimes, when you draft, and sometimes they do some good drafting. Right? I mean, CD Lamb, Parsons. I mean, Dak Prescott. He wasn't a first-round pick, taking him, right? But I mean, the thing is, when you got these guys and you want the young studs, Micah Parsons, CD Lamb, young studs. But the problem is when it comes time to pay them, those are 2. And you figure the quarterback with Dak Prescott, those are 3 expensive positions. right? But when you draft and you keep your guys, right, it's a lot. Sometimes it just gets kind of expensive. As with the Giants, the Giants, Shane was prioritizing it. We drafted, Shane didn't draft Barkley, but the Giants drafted Barkley, kept them along for 6 seasons. This is season number 7. And, I guess it was time to, say bye-bye instead of paying him 13, 14, whatever the Eagles paid him. Same thing with Xavier McKinney. He wants to get paid. I don't blame him, right? But, the Giants had to prioritize was paying Saquon 13 and Xavier 17, taking that $30 million, or we'd rather have a 7th-year running back Saquon Barkley and be a fifth-year safety. Xavier, do we want a running back and a safety, or do we want for that $30 million, or do we want an edge rusher? Well, I think you found your answer. He prioritizes, certain things, right? And now we got two really good edge rushers. Couple them up with Dexter Lawrence. And I said I would absolutely love in the second round if they took themselves a really good defensive tackle, get that front wall there. Oof. Right? And you got that front wall, and you got McFadden or Carrick behind them, right? So that'd be a nice 6 guys right there. You got Deonte Banks. Right, so you have nice 6, 7 guys. You get Pinnock and Belton, whatever. So I said maybe next season we can add even a little bit more. Right, so the defense is starting to come around. So I'll have to wait and see. But as far as closing the talent gap, you can say whatever you want. This, that, the thing like Patty did there. She made some very, very good points. But the proof's in the pudding. Let's see what happens on when they blow the whistle after they kick off. You can say all you want, but Cowboys have been beating the snot out of the Giants for years. So I'm gonna reserve my reservation until after the games are over. Well, wait and see. Pinnock and Bredeson, good for those guys. They cashed in. Good for those guys. A pair of New York Giants were among the biggest beneficiaries of the NFL performance-based PBP bonus system for the 2023 season. Jason Pinnock earned an extra over $817,000, which was the 12th most in the NFL, and he certainly deserved it. Good for him. Really, really good for him. And guard Ben Bredeson earned an additional $764,000, which was the 19th most. Good for those guys. The league's performance-based pay program gives bonuses to players based on playing time and their regular pay, with lower-paid players who get a lot of playing time receiving the biggest bonuses, and as well they should. You got somebody out there making $800,000 a year, and they wind up playing like 85% of the snaps on defense. Heck yeah! Geez, absolutely. Well, good for them. Good for them. I'm good for Pinnock, man. Good for him. And I hope he's around there for a while. Hope he's around there for a while. Pinnock, playing on a rookie contract that paid him $940,000 base salary, played over 1,000 snaps and 128 special team snaps as well. So he played almost what is that, 1,139 snaps. And they gave him $940,000. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sneezing at 900. You throw $940,000 at my way, I'm a happy camper. I'm sure he was a happy camper too. But in the football world, when you got quarterbacks making $50-60 million a season, he was only making $940,000, and he played over 1,100 snaps. So I'm glad he got some performance based pay. So good for him. He was a primary replacement after J Love with special sauce went to the Seattle Seahawks. Bredeson started 16 games and played over 1,000 offensive snaps. Both were career highs. He parlayed that into a 1-year, $3 million contract with Tampa Bay. So unfortunately, the Giants didn't want to bring him back. So it is what it is. But good for him. But so he got himself a 1-year deal. He's making $3 million. He wasn't making that much with the Giants. Plus, he got themselves another over $700,000. So good for him. NFL players will receive a total of $393 million in performance-based pay. There are no salary cap implications as PBP is considered a benefit. Is that it? Yep. Good for them. Well, I'm saying, but that's good for those guys. You got these guys making, once again, in the world of professional football, making basically chump change, which is kind of under $1 million, right? As I said, once again, it ain't chump change to me, but in the world of football, chump change. And you guys got these guys playing over 1,000 snaps in a season. Good for them. They deserve every freaking penny. I mean, they're putting their lives, their careers, and all that stuff, everything on the line. Just for them to basically play in over 1,000 snaps is absolutely remarkable. So good for those guys. Anybody who got some extra money, good for you guys. Way to go. Congratulations. You certainly deserve it. Now, I seen this. There's another thing Patty Traynor was going over. She was kind of looking at like down the road. Now, the Giants aren't getting no compensatory picks this season. And she also kind of explained is that, like, I think she said it was after the draft. I think she said it was 5 days after the draft is over. I think that's what she said. That's where the kind of the cutoff is. And then you take that, and then you can look going forward to the next year where you might get a compensatory pick. And as of right now, the Giants are possibly in line for a 4th-round compensatory pick for next season because of the loss of Xavier McKinney. Now, we lost, obviously we lost Saquon Barkley, but a lot of that stuff is like canceling. Like you lose Saquon Barkley, but you pick up this guy. You lost this guy, but you picked up this. So a lot of them, they cancel each other out, right? And I got this chart over here. It's going to show you a lot of that stuff is kind of canceling each other out. But because obviously our big pickup of the season was Burns. We're paying somebody $30 million. Well, if that was a free agent, he would be canceling out everything. I mean, you can forget about any compensatory pick if he was a free agent. However, we traded for him, so that don't matter. That don't count. The compensatory stuff is what free agents you lost compared to the free agents you brought in. So another thing that Patty was bringing up and talking about was that things might be kind of quiet on the Giant front for the next few weeks because they don't want to start bringing in a whole bunch of free agents and messing with that compensatory pick possibly for next season. Now, she was also bringing up that like maybe if there's a safety out there, there's some safeties out there, right? What there was kind of what she was talking about maybe possibly happening is that maybe Shane or maybe somebody in the front office would call some free agents or whatever and say, hey, if you can sit tight and hold your water, okay, until after the draft's over with, we might be picking the phone up. We can maybe give you a call. Maybe we can, after a few days after the draft, maybe we can bring you in, and if we can, we'll sign you. Right, if that's okay with you, so we might wind up giving you a call maybe after the draft's over. But what she was bringing up is that if the Giants to keep wheeling and dealing and bringing in some other guys, we might lose that 4th-round compensatory pick next season. But there's also another thing too, is that another really good point what she brought up, okay, is that she said if the Giants wanted to just say move up in the draft this season, okay. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing stuff out there. We got pick 47. I didn't look at the chart or nothing like that. Just say the Giants want to move up, whatever, from pick 47, whatever. I don't even know, just 35. Say somewhere along the line, we're going to go over Penix. I'm just throwing Penix out there, right? Well, we're going to go over Penix. Nick Filato did a very good job of breaking his stuff down. He's got a long freaking article. Oh, my God. Very complete. Very, very, very good job. So say the Giants, okay, wanted to go from 47, right? Say they got their wide receiver. Say we got Neighbors or Dunze, whatever, or Harrison, whoever we get, right? But then in the second round, say we want to get our quarterback maybe for the future. Just saying. Well, say we're at 47 and say we want to go from 47. I'm just throwing numbers out there. I don't even know. But say we want to go from 47 down to 40 or 39 or something or whatever, right? And that would cost us our pick 47. It costs us an additional 4th round pick to move up those 6, 7, 8 spots, whatever it might be, right? The Giants could simply say, "Hey, we'll give you pick 47, and we'll give you our 4th round pick next season." So we'll have 2 4th round picks. Obviously, the compensatory pick would be one of the last picks in the 4th round. But you can also you can whatever you can say we'll give you our compensatory pick or we'll give you our whatever our own 4th round pick or right. But the Giants quite possibly know that they have 2 4th round picks next season. And what she was saying is if the Giants wanted to move up in the draft, right, maybe jump up and grab a quarterback, Penix, Michael Penix Jr., or maybe something in a later, maybe like Rattler in the 3rd round or something like that. If they want to jump up, right, they can do something like that. Trade away the one round pick this season and then maybe a 4th round pick next year. But if we look at this chart here, this is from Over the Cap here. Projected compensatory picks. Now, if you look down here, okay, the Giants with Xavier McKinney, Kirk Cousins, Wilkins, Hunt. See, I mean, the Dolphins, they got hit, but they're in line, okay, as of right now for 2 3rd round picks next season, which could really certainly help. You know how those 3rd round picks, if you hit them, they can be very, very valuable. But he said here the Giants are in line for a 4th rounder with Xavier McKinney. Now, if you look here, okay, can I make this bigger? Yep, there we go. Cool. Now, if you look here, right? All right, we see like here, these guys here. We lost Paris Campbell and Hottie Ward, but we brought Austin Schlutman. That's Danish. It's not Schlot. It's not Schloot. It's Schlut. Austin Schlutman. Right. So I'm not sure if these guys. Well, see, because one non-CFA and non-CFA's gain. Okay, but these are our own guys. Okay, we lost Saquon Barkley. All right, which would have been a 5th round. But we picked up John Runyon Jr., so these two cancel each other out. We lost A'Shawn Robinson, who would have been a 6th round compensatory pick, quite possibly for the Giants, but we picked up Jermaine Luminor. He would have been a 6th round, so these guys cancel each other out. We lost Tyrod Taylor, who would have been a 6th round compensatory pick. However, we picked up Devin Singletary, who would have been a 6th round compensatory. So they cancel each other out. We lost Ben Bredeson, who would have been a 7th round compensatory pick, right? But we picked up Drew Lock, who was a 6th. So basically, they kind of canceled each other out. So the loss of Barkley, Robinson, Taylor, and Bredeson were canceled out with Runyon, Luminor, Singletary, and Lock. So this all canceled each other out. However, right, up here, right, we still got Xavier McKinney, okay, because he signed a $17 million a year deal with the Packers. So he's possibly worth a 4th round selection for the New York Giants. Now, as I said, so the Giants want to kind of hold their water as far as, I mean, maybe bringing in guys, whatever you want to say, maybe on like a league minimum and stuff like that. That might be one thing. But say the Giants going to go out and say pick up a free agent safety. There's quite a few of them out there, but they're going to want to hold their water on that till maybe after the draft's over, because also you don't know too, because the Giants might quite possibly draft the safety. And then if they draft the safety, they're not going to want to bring a safety in. But I mean, if they're going to go out and spend, say, an additional $4, $5, $6 million maybe on a guy, okay, in free agency, they're going to want to maybe hold off on that till after the draft's over with, because I think what Patty Trainer said, I think if I remember correctly, I think she said like 5 days after the draft is over, this all this gets locked in, and it doesn't matter. The Giants can sign, not that they're going to, but the Giants can go out and sign 312 free agents, spend $9 trillion and all that, and none of this is affected. Not that they can't sign that, but I'm saying if they went out and started going hog wild crazy, right? Now, you look here with the Cowboys, right? See, the Cowboys are in line. See, look, they gained. Look at all these guys they gained. Nobody. Look at all these guys they lost, right? So if you look here, see, the Cowboys are in the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh. Let's see here. See? Tyron Smith, a fifth. Tyler Biadasz, a fifth. Now, I remember the Cowboys jumping up in front of the Giants the year they drafted Biadasz because the Giants needed a center. So the Cowboys jumped up in front of the Giants to take him. I don't know if the Giants were going to draft him anyway, but the Giants needed a center. The Cowboys could use one too, so they jumped up in front of the Giants to grab him. So, but then they lost him, so now they're going to get a fifth-round pick. They lost Armstrong. That's a fifth round, quite possibly a fifth-round pick. Tony Pollard, that's a sixth-round pick. And who is wrong way. Where's the other one? Oh, who's a seventh-round pick? Was there a seventh-round pick for the Cowboys? Where are we at here? Yeah, Dante Fowler Jr. So I don't know. I don't see. Maybe I don't know. That I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? But the Cowboys, because they didn't pick up anybody, see all the guys that they lost, right, are all going to get quite possibly. They're in line to pick up, I guess, it looks like maybe from over here. They look like they're in line to pick up, maybe get an additional, possibly at least an additional 4 picks. 3 fifths and a sixth. So if with their own fifth, they could have 4 fifth-round picks. So and possibly an additional 6. So I'm saying is, well, if the Cowboys after the draft is over, I think once again, I think Patty Trainer said about 5 days after the draft is over, this all gets locked in. So the Cowboys could theoretically go out and start like they're going to Gurley world, right, and just start bringing on all these free agents, and that would have no effect on the compensatory picks for the following season, right? So. If the Giants are going to say they don't draft a big time safety, get a safety in the second or third round or something like that or whatever, they can certainly go, because there's some safeties out there. They can certainly go out in free agency and bring one in, but they're probably going to want to do that after the draft's over with. So the Giants are in line quite possibly for an additional 4th-round pick for next season. So that hey, 4th-round pick, right? We've done well with later round picks, right? So we'll have to say. So, but once again, every bite of the apple is huge, right? Because it doesn't mean you're going to hit on them all, but just the fact that you have a chance to draft an additional player, especially in the 4th round, could be huge, right? So, all right, then we got Manhertz, Chris Manhertz, the good, the great, and the ugly. Now, once again, I mean, we did with our tight end from the Eagles. Now he Stahl. He basically, I mean, once again, a blocking tight end. Same thing with Manhertz. I mean, Mean Gene Clemens. He's coach. Mean Gene Clemens takes a look at tight end Chris Manhertz, and same thing. I mean, you don't get overly excited or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, you don't even know if the guy's even going to make the team. I mean, if Waller were to play, let's just say, right? We got Stahl, we got Cager, we got Bredeson, with Waller. I mean, you don't even know if Manhertz is going to make the team. We got Adoree Jackson, so right. We got one of the New York Giants' recent signings at tight end is former Denver Broncos veteran and Chris Manhertz, veteran tight end Chris Manhertz. He is another run-blocking tight end in the Giants to improve the play from the position in the run game. Jack Stahl is another run-blocking tight end who is signed this offseason, and both of them will compete as a primary tight end to handle most of the run-blocking duties. Manhertz is a physical tight end who is effective at the point of attack and on the backside of the play. Although he is not a receiving threat, he represents a big upgrade in run blocking, which was an issue for the team. It's not a sexy signing, but an extremely practical one. Let's look at the good, the great, and the ugly of the New York signee. The good, cutoff blocking. Now, this is pretty much the same thing as Stahl. His ability to cut, the cutoff blocking. Manhertz has been great over the years, working on the weak side and cutting off defenders. He's good at getting his outside hand to the inside of the defender and keeping him from chasing flat down the line of scrimmage. He climbs to the second level and chases the weak side defenders prepared for the cutback, or he can intercept a defender as they chase. When he crosses backside on the split zone, he makes defenders go around him, or he can take them out of completely. In this clip, you can see him working on the backside as a cutoff blocker. He works at the first two levels to keep defenders from pursuing the ball. You can also see how he positions himself to stay between the defender and his runner in the clip below. So he's over here. Not bad. I mean, that was pretty impressive. Okay, so he's over here. No, he kind of fell down there, but he got in the way of the defender. That's all you need to do. Yeah, he cut him off there. That was not easy. That was not an easy block there. Okay, good. That's all he had. That's all he's got to do there. That was a good block there. Right, coming across. Nice. But of course, you're only going to see the good stuff, obviously here. So this is not easy either, right? But he stayed in the way of him, and his guy didn't even come close to making the tackle. All right, the great heavy hands and a strong punch. Heavy-handed run blockers are difficult for defenders to handle. Manhertz has a strong punch with long arms that neutralizes the initial forward movement of a defender. It is extremely useful on base blocks because many times all a running back needs is a second to get to and through a hole. It is also perfect for combo blocks because he can punch one defender to help a teammate and then work with another defender. He routinely collects multiple defenders in a play. He's also good out in space as he climbs to the second level or pulls because he only needs an initial contact to stop either linebacker or defensive back's momentum. In this series of plays, you see that Manhertz has defenders handled on the front side of the play. You can also see his base blocking and punching defenders at the second level and on double teams from transitioning to another defender. All right, so as we got here. So he's right here. Nice. Oh, he did a good job there on that one. All right here. All right. Let's see what is a hole here, maybe. He just, well, the hole was there, but he got his back turned, got the guy walled off. Nice job. All right, so he's right there. Nice. Yeah. He got the guy turned. That was good. All right, so he's out over here. Got to the second level. Okay. Good. Yeah. Well, I mean, he did a decent job. It's obviously it's not an easy thing to do. Yeah, he hung tough there. I like that one. Good. Wow. Nice. Once again, so and he hit up on two different guys there. But once again, he's just showing you the good stuff here. But I mean, but that's what you expect from him. Once again, it's the same thing with Stahl. Is what Coach Mean Gene Clemens here was talking about. The ugly with Stahl was the pass receiving. Manhertz, the ugly, is the pass receiving, right? Manhertz has been in the NFL for 8 years and has suited up for 4 different teams. He's played 120 games over that time and has 26 receptions and 100. So basically, I don't know what the heck that is. He gets 1 reception every 4.5 games. I mean, holy cow. Holy cow. That's horrible, right? So 8 years, 26 receptions. Basically, he gets 3 receptions a year. I mean, holy cow. He's only been targeted 40 times in 8 years. So in 8 years, he gets targeted 5 times a season. Nobody believes that he's a legitimate pass receiver. He does not possess the long speed to stretch the field. He does not have the wiggle to get in and out of breaks, which makes defenders miss. He has a limited route tree, and his hands are questionable. This clip represents all the targets he had in 2024. Okay, well, maybe that means the first, I guess maybe the last couple games of the 2023 season, I guess maybe. That's all I can think of because we haven't played in 2024 yet. As I said, unless it was the last couple of games of the 2023 season, which were played in 2024, maybe. Maybe that's where he's going here. You can see that he is not asked to run any complicated routes, and he does not seem to be able to make something extra happen after the catch. All right, so he's right here. What do we got? Oh. There you go. All right. He caught a pass. But see, that's the beauty of it, right? That's the beauty with him, because what Coach Clemens said, he's they see him on the field and it's like, there's no way this guy's going out for pass, right? So then initially, also the nice thing was when he initiates contact with the defender, right? He's blocking, right, and then he releases, which makes it even a little bit more, I guess, beneficial to the offense, because, when the linebackers maybe start dropping in coverage, or everybody starts dropping in coverage, oh, he's blocking somebody. Okay, he's blocking. So they start dropping. Then he releases, right, which gives him a little bit of a chance here, right, as we see right here. Got knocked down. Didn't he was open. He didn't get a chance because Russell Wilson didn't get the ball to him. Yeah, so see, he's initiating contact here, right? So everybody's like this. He's blocking. He ain't going out and pass pattern. So then he releases. There you go. That was a good tackle by the defensive back there, but so he can catch the ball, but he's primarily a run blocker or a pass protector, run blocker, or, Darren Waller's back for 2024. Manhertz and Stahl will battle it out for the third tight end position. Yeah, because we got Bellinger, we got Waller, Bellinger, and you're only going to keep 3, and you're only going to keep maybe 1 on the practice squad. So, right, if Waller decides to hang it up, both could be filled in a tight end 2 and tight end 3. Yeah, so you could have Bellinger, Manhertz, and Stahl, unless the Giants were to draft a tight end, right? Manhertz should be used more on the strong side of plays where his force can be exploited the most. He has power and a frame that allows him to operate as a primary run blocker. Signing like Manhertz can go under the radar but could yield dividends. A position of need for tight ends has a chance to improve in its most critical area, run blocking. Yep. Hard to argue there. I think he's a very, obviously, once again, cheap, right? Stahl, cheap, right? But if, somewhere along the line, if whether Waller's here this season, I'm sure it'll be Waller's last season regardless. If he comes back and plays in 2024, he probably won't be on the team in 2025. Somewhere along the line, the Giants do need to upgrade and get a good receiving threat tight end. That would really, especially if we draft a wide receiver, right? I'm not sure what Slayton's future holds for the team. That I don't know. But if you got Hyatt, you got Robinson, if you get, say, Neighbors or Dunzier or whoever, right? And then we got Bellinger, who can be a decent receiver, but He needs to do a better job blocking this season. But I'm saying, but if you get yourself a nice receiving threat tight end, boy, we have a nice group of guys. Nice group of guys. All right, and then we got here draft prospect Michael Penix Jr. This is from Nick Filato. He does a very good job. I mean, this article is like 3 miles long. I mean, this is long article here, right? All right, so he's 6'2". Yeah, you got to be maybe a little bit bigger, but this would be like maybe the 6'2", 6'3" would be like for coaches' sakes, I think they'll, obviously they like the guys to be 6'4", 6'5", but 6'2", 6'3", 216. He can always add a little bit of weight. This is what it is. Super senior. Yeah. All right. 4.46. That ain't slow at all. Let me tell you that much. Vertical 36.5. Very nice. 10.5 on the broad jump. Very nice. Very nice. Former 3-star recruit out of Tampa Bay Tech High School in Tampa, Florida, where he was the 154th overall Floridian recruit in the 2018 recruiting cycle. Penix threw for 61 touchdowns and just 6 interceptions in 24 games as a starting quarterback in high school while rushing for 449 yards and 37 carries, 10 touchdowns. All right. Penix initially attended Indiana University before transferring to Washington for his final 2 collegiate seasons. He was the 23rd ranked quarterback and the 247th player overall when he entered the transfer portal after the 2021 season. But this is what worries you. Penix dealt with fair share of injuries throughout his college career. His 2018 and 2020 seasons were torn right ACL. And he missed the final 4 games of the 2019 season with a clavicle fracture. In 2021, his final season at Indiana, Penix Jr. separated his left throwing AC joint in his shoulder in week 5 and missed the remainder of the season. So, I mean, I said you got 4 season-ending injuries. Now, it's at the combine and all, they did the medicals and all that. And whatever the medicals they did, everything's good. It's fine. Everything's fine. That's good. Well, yeah. But as Jimmy Johnson said, right, injured players get injured. Whether you get injured and you come back and the doctor said, no, he's good to go. Man, he's good. He's good to go. There's nothing wrong there. When you got Eli Manning, right, who played 342,000 games in a row, been sacked however many times, hits however many times, and he gets hit, picks himself up, walks back to the huddle. A couple plays later, he gets hit, picks himself up, walks back to the huddle. Gets himself hit, picks it. When Eli Manning's a guy, he's rare case. Don't get me wrong. But there's guys who get hit or can take a hit or know how to take a hit or know how to get hit or whatever, or get hit and how to land, protect themselves or what. You don't want to get hit and land right on your shoulder. There's certain ways of landing and all that. But there are guys that get hit and get injured. There's other guys get hit and keep on ticking. And Michael Penix Jr. is a guy that gets hit and gets injured. And if you're saying that about him, we're not talking like 1 season-ending injury. We're talking 4. I guess about 5 seasons or whatever, 4. 4. That's not. I don't care what what the medicals say and all. 4 season-ending injuries in college. I think Shane might be learning, might have learned maybe from like the Waller trade. Gave up a 3rd-round pick. We might have got Waller for 12 games maybe. Because if he retires, we just gave up a 3rd-round pick for 12 games, right? Do you want to trade a 2nd-round pick or maybe try to trade up, trade away your 2nd-round pick and maybe add another draft pick in there to move up to grab Penix, to grab a guy that gets injured every year. And especially if you want this guy to be your long-term answer quarterback, I don't know. I mean, of course, don't get me wrong. If you can build a wall and nobody ever touches them, you might be good to go. But yeah, that's not something you want to be counting on, especially with the Giants, right? So I'm not so sure, how high, even as good as his film might be and all that stuff and everything, as we'll see. I'm not so sure. I mean, it might be a bit of a risk. Let's see. Injuries plagued Penix Jr. all throughout his time as a Hoosier, but his time at Washington was sensational. He threw for over 4,500 yards in each season with 67 touchdowns and just 19 interceptions. 2022, he was the AP Comeback Player of the Year, was a Davey O'Brien Award semifinalist, and was a second-team All-Pac-12. Washington went all the way to the national championship game this past season. Penix Jr. was the catalyst. He was a Heisman Trophy finalist, finished second. Right? Davey O'Brien Award finalist, the first team All-American, and he won the Maxwell Award. The team captain ranks second most in Pac-12 history in single-season passing, 4,906 yards. He broke his own record, set the previous season at 46-41. Penix Jr. did not miss any time when at Washington, and he passed his medical checks at the 2024 NFL Scouting Combine. Still, his medicals will likely still be scrutinized due to the severity and frequency of his past injuries. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I got here strengths. Solid height with massive hands, a true pocket passer, ability to attack anywhere on the football field, checks and sets at the line of scrimmage to help protection. Smart commander of the offense, does an excellent job seeing pressure, sees the field well, pulled back versus almost disastrous mistakes, excellent ability to avoid sacks, which is good, only sacked 31 times in 1,751 dropbacks. But it was also assisted by an elite offensive line. Now, that's not something that the Giants, as of this right now, have, okay, an elite offensive line. I mean, if you put Michael Penix Jr. on the behind the Giants offensive line last season when he gave up 85 sacks, I mean, Lord knows how his season would have ended, what injury I'm sure he would have had, right? Displayed ability to quickly reset his feet when navigating the pocket, moves around the pocket well to adapt to his blockers, manages pocket and progressions well, can quickly get through progressions when it warrants and answers weren't evident. Good overall decision-making, good eye manipulation and timing to hold single high safeties to buy time. That's good. And beautiful peripheral vision, read safeties and influence coverage away from his desired target. Looking over here, getting everybody to flow over there. Boom! Coming back over here and hitting somebody on the other side of the field. That's instead of like the Daniel Jones. All right, come on, baby. Come on. I'm looking at you. Come on, turn around. As soon as you turn around, I'm going to throw it. Okay, you're turning. I'm looking at you. I got you. Got me? I got you. Okay, here comes the ball. All right, here it comes, right? In the Seattle game, as the cornerback picks it off and runs back 142,000 yards for a pick six touchdown all the way. Daniel Jones dropping back in the pocket. Okay, come on, turn around. Look at me. Come on. Oh, you see me? I'm looking at you. Yeah, okay. Looking at you, you're looking at me. Okay, here comes the ball. Here it comes, baby. All right, and there it goes. Pick six. Oh, yeah. All right. And so, I mean, he's got a lot of all the arm strength to hit throws from the far hash. A lot of good stuff. But then you got some weaknesses here, right? Slight frame with longer arms and cause a long release. Footwork efficiency can improve, but that can improve. That's something you can improve, right? Tested well, but rarely used his legs. Seems a bit stiff as an athlete. Great pockets, and the rest of it. So he was given great pockets. That's not something he might be given in the pros here with the Giants, right? So we occasionally completely miss short to intermediate passes. Wouldn't always align his feet, hips, and eyes, causing those occasional slip-ups. Too much zip, needs to add sometimes you got to add a little touch to it. Noticeably different quarterback under pressure, which is something you might get that with the Giants, right? Not a consistent, proven track record out of structure or on the move, operated predominantly out of the shotgun. How creative can he be out of structure? Offense relied heavily on 50-50 balls, and that's not something well, tell you what, Dable's not calling 50-50 ball plays. He's calling plays for guys that get separation. All right. Hard to overlook his past injuries. I mean, will be a 24-year-old rookie. I'm not so worried about that. I mean, that just means he has more experience. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you get 10 years out of him, heck, he'll be 34 years old. You can play quarterback at 34. The problem is he going to make it to 34? Or is he going to be so banged up or whatever, he won't be able to make it that far? So, I mean, I wish the guy nothing but the best, but I mean, you're taking a risk on the guy. Summary: Michael Penix Jr. has true NFL arm and can throw a football into the tightest of windows. He has an excellent combination of arm strength, velocity, and deep accuracy. He does have some gunslinger in him. He showed the ability to attack every part of the field, some areas more comfortable than others. He has beautiful throws over the middle, but he's seen hesitant to pull the trigger when targeting the intermediate middle areas of the field. I love the way Pinnock attacks the football field, wanting to make the big play. The lefty is fearless, ripping far hash throws with precise placement to wide receivers' outside shoulders. You know, there's a lot to like. A lot to like about him. He got overall grade here, which means here 6.24 would put him right here. Would be a third or fourth round pick. He's not making the third or fourth round pick. He'll probably be, if he's not scoffed up by the end of the first round, I'm sure he'll probably be a second round pick. So that 6.24, I think this more, I guess, less, I would have to believe would refer to, it would maybe more based toward anybody but maybe a quarterback. I mean, if you got a quarterback like somebody like him, his grade 6.24, I'd have a hard time believing he's going to hit the third round. Really hard time believing he's going to hit the third round. So, but a 6.24, I mean, a potential starter or a good backup. A prospect with some limiting factors who should become a good NFL backup and the potential to be an eventual starter. So, yeah. But I mean, if you look here, right, this is PFF, right? Obviously, they got Caleb Williams, number 1. They got Drake May, number 2. This is their overall rank. So they got Jaden Daniels would be obviously the third ranked quarterback, but their overall be the 21st best player, right? JJ McCarthy, right? So they have him as the 4th best quarterback, but they have him the 29th best overall player. I don't know if he's going to make it to pick number 29 now. Jaden Daniels ain't making it to pick 21. Then, of course, then here they got Bo Nix is ahead of Penix, right? But if you look right here, once again, this is the PFF overall ranking, right, for the guys coming out, 46. But the Giants have the 47th pick. But I'm not sure if he's going to make it to pick 46 or 47. Same thing with Bo Nix, right? Now, interestingly, it's really interesting here because you got the Giants have pick 47. The PFF ranking for Michael Penix is number 46. The Giants have pick 70. And oddly enough, Spencer Rattler is their PFF overall rank number 70 player coming out. So interestingly enough. Now, I can certainly see Spencer Rattler making it to the third round. Penix, I'm not sure I can see him making it to number 46, though. That I'd have a hard time. Unless basically if his injury history really started scaring some teams off, I can see him maybe kind of slipping this. I still have a hard time believing he'll fall all the way down to number 46. I'm kind of thinking like if the Giants wanted to go after maybe Bo Nix or Penix, that they have to take their pick 47 and jump up a little bit, right? maybe along the lines of, I said, if it gets to the point where they got their second round pick 47, and they can trade away one of their fourth round picks from 2025, which one of them might be the compensatory pick, right? They can couple the two picks up. One would be an extra pick, right? And move up. They can move up from maybe number 47 to 40 or 39, whatever, and draft maybe if one of these guys is around. I don't even know. I don't even know if both these guys are going to make it to number 40, just to be honest with you. Now, Spencer Rattler, on the other hand, okay, he could quite possibly make it to the third round, quite possibly, right? But I mean, even after that, I mean, there's got Pratt from Tulane. Heard some good things about him. Travis, unfortunately for him, I mean, obviously he did a phenomenal job at Florida State, but then he got hurt. So that kind of really derailed his season. But I mean, he had a very, very good season, obviously, for Florida State. Austin Reed from Western Kentucky. Haven't really heard a heck of a lot about him. Now, Joe Milton, now with him, he's got a lot of ability or talent as far as throwing the ball and all, but a little bit raw. Like he definitely might have to sit if the Giants were to draft him, right? Look at this, 6'5", 235 pounds. I mean, my goodness, 6'5", and he can throw the ball really good. I mean, he's got a really strong arm. But I'm saying he might be more of a project. Somebody who's definitely have to sit for at least a year, right? So I mean, then there's plenty of other guys. But I mean, you look at this guy. I mean, you start getting to these guys down here. There aren't almost that many picks in the NFL draft. Once you get up to 240, 250, 260, you know what I mean? Yeah, 276. I mean, some of these guys could be like the Mr. Irrelevant, right? Like Brock Purdy, right? So maybe like Slovis here from Brigham Young gets picked. He could be Mr. Irrelevant, right? If you go almost up to pick on 284. But the Giants, if they, once again, I mean, you have to wait and see. You're not sure where the McCarthy mania is kind of gonna go. Right. You hear all kinds of things. I heard he might go second to the Commanders. I heard somebody today say he should go in the second round. I mean, a lot of people say he's not going to get past 11, 12, or 13 with the Broncos, the Vikings, or the Raiders. I hear Caleb Williams might go 1, May might go 2, Daniels might go 3. The Vikings might take their 2 first-round picks, couple them up, jump up to 4, trade with the Cardinals, and take McCarthy. I mean, but you got to love it because you have no idea what's going to happen, which makes it really exciting. But I mean, so if the Giants going to move up, is there smoke screens here with McCarthy, right? But I mean, Dable went all across the country. He was there with Penix Jr. Watched his pro day, but not only his pro day, but Adunze too, right? So they got like the two of them. But so he's seen him. So I mean, it might be somebody they might have to maybe jump up in the second round if they want to grab one of those guys. Can they hold their water and maybe grab Spencer Rattler maybe in the third round? We'll have to wait and see. The one nice thing about if the Giants can maybe grab Rattler later, a third round or so, you got 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks or so maybe being taken in front of Rattler. So there's only so many teams that need quarterbacks, right? So it's if Nix goes, Penix goes, McCarthy goes, Daniel goes, May goes, Caleb Williams go, right? You got all these other some of these quarterback needy teams, they take quarterbacks. So when the third round rolls around, a lot of the quarterback needy teams maybe have already taken their quarterbacks. So maybe Spencer Rattler kind of hangs around, right? So maybe the Giants maybe can grab him in the third round. Not the way to say. But I mean, there's a really good chance that whoever the Giants take, regardless, they're sitting. They're not taking whoever, Penix Jr., just say. And you're the starter day one. Go get him, Tiger. That's not happening. They're sitting. So, all right, guys, been 1 hour, 13, almost 1 hour, 14 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays. Once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.